Okay, so here we go. How do you ascend even higher than a chief royal? Now, all of these lessons are in my curriculum. I have a three-part curriculum. Parts 1 and 2 and the workbooks are out now. They are on Amazon. You can get them. I highly recommend that you do them in order. For some of you who have maybe been following me, you may have pieces to it already, just from different conferences and teachings that I've done. Reach out if you have specific questions, and I'll direct you to the appropriate resource to help you. But I created a curriculum, and this is what I take my students through. The first one is called Strategic Maneuvers, and then the workbook that goes with it is called Soul Work 2, Waging War Against Your Sinful Nature. The second part of the curriculum is Tactical Advantage, and that workbook and intercession manual is Tactical Maneuvers. Part 3 is the Governing and Legislation Manual. Currently working on that. That will be released prayerfully by the end of the year. And that workbook is the Spiritual Identity Dossier. If you follow me, you know that that book has already come out. So as you learn pieces of your identity, you need to keep a record of it, because trust and believe, the kingdom of darkness has a record about you. They know. I always recommend that every Christian should watch the James Kawalye interview. It's a 3-hour interview on YouTube. And he talks about how he took down this group of people who were praying and causing all kind of havoc in the kingdom of darkness. And they handed him like a 500-page dossier on all of the prayer warriors, and it had the sins in their bloodlines and all the different things, so that he would know strategically how to attack them. So that is why it's important that you keep a record of who you are in the spirit, so that you can go back and remember what God has said about you. You can go back and remember the prophecies that God spoke over your life, because those become weapons of warfare when you are being opposed in the spirit realm. So back to spiritual identity. We were talking about how you excel higher than just a chief royal, which is crazy, because being a chief royal has its benefits of authority. So we were confused. Lord, what are you talking about? And so he began to share your mantles. Okay. So throughout my journey of praying, fasting, and obedience, and doing the assignment God created me to do, finishing the books, finishing the conferences, other stuff he has me doing in my personal life that earned me authority in the spirit realm. And other things that I earned are mantles. I carry 3 different mantles. And when he begins to tell you the mantles that you carry, right, it's usually someone in the Bible. So you may carry a Deborah mantle. You may carry a David mantle, or a Paul mantle, and so, or an Elijah mantle. And so you have the attributes of what that person in the Bible passed down through the work that they did. And the mantles actually expand your human capacity to carry the weight and of God's glory, because the higher you ascend in the spirit realm, the more responsibility you have in the spirit realm. Now, all of this is governed through a prayer life, right? It's all prayer, fasting, and obedience. It's just a different level of it. And so when you begin to obtain mantles, it expands your capacity to hold God's glory. Woo. Now let's talk about royals. When you become a royal, you earn territory to govern. It could be a realm, it could be a dimension, it could be a physical territory, but you are responsible for governing a territory. Think about what a governor does for a state. That is what you would do for the territories that you govern in prayer. So if a governor is the point person for a natural disaster, if a natural disaster hits your region, you need to be calling for the things that the governor would do in the natural. You do that in the spirit. You call for angelic assistance, you call for resources, you call for protection, all of those things. And so again, all of these are in the books and the teachings. I tell you all the time, read the books. But I just want to give y'all a summary, like a brief overview of what's going on in the spirit realm and why it's so necessary for the body of Christ to rise to the occasion. The body of Christ is not ready for the war that's coming in this earth. And I'm trying to do my part to get you there. It's really in these spiritual streets. I've been forgetting to say that.